Okay, so let's take a quick look at what's happening in the Chilliwack and District real estate market for the month of October. This month I want to talk a little bit about composition of the average sales price, as well as what we're seeing in houses priced over $1 million. The month of September, we saw 150 home sales. That's not much of a change from July or August, which was 132 and 145, up to 150 in September. And now for October, we're pretty much on track to be leveling off around that 150, 160 number again. Right now, we're looking at about 40 days on average on market for a house that sells. And don't forget, there's houses that are sitting on the market way longer than that, but they're not selling. So it doesn't take into account the homes that are not selling. It's just those that have sold. That's around 40 days on market. If you're looking for one bit of normal in the market, I would say that would be an inventory. So inventory peaked in July, and that would be typical. It's been declining ever since. So right now we have about 8.5 months of inventory on the market. And again, declining inventory as we get into later fall and winter is completely normal. Now, often I talk about average sale price in here, and one important thing to remember is what makes up the average sales price. So composition of the sales price matters. When you think of an example where, let's say there's 10 condos that sell for 400,000, and all of a sudden you get a condo that sells for $1 million. Well, you've had 11 condos now that sold. Most of them sold around that 400, but you had that one outlier that's going to drag up the average sale price. So things like that affect average sales price. So with regards to that, I want to talk about homes that sold over $1 million. So back in February, we had 211 homes that sold. Of those homes that sold, 131 were over $1 million. So that's about 65% of the homes that were selling were over $1 million back in February. Now fast forward to September of 2022, we've had about 76 sales in total, and only 16 of those were over $1 million. So now we're looking at down to 21% of the homes that sold that were over $1 million. So there's a huge change in the number of homes that are selling over $1 million. And of course, that's going to affect the composition of the average sales price. What does this mean for you? First off, for sellers, don't take a buyer for granted. There's not a lot of buyers out there. When one comes along that's willing and able to purchase your property, you want to make something work. You want to find a win-win scenario for both parties. So here's an example of this. I was recently talking with another agent. He brought a buyer to a property back in the spring. They offered something less than asking. And at the time, the sellers felt that that was a lowball offer. Well, now that house is still on the market today. It's now hundreds of thousands of dollars less than it was originally listed for. And I'm sure that those sellers have a ton of regret, wishing that they accepted that price. Keep that in mind. Don't send your buyers up the road too quickly. Try to work something out that can work. Buyers, I'm not gonna get into a lot here, but basically if you're buying and selling something else, just remember everything is moving relative to each other. So this house that you're selling and the house that you're buying are all doing the same thing in the market right now, which is softening in price. So don't be afraid to accept a little bit less on the sale of your home and then pick up a property for less when you're purchasing it. And of course, as always, don't forget that real estate is not a short-term play. You're not thinking in terms of 12 months. You're thinking in terms of 5 to 10 years. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. That's a wrap for this month's Market Snapshot. As always, I love to chat about the market. Let's catch up. Call, text, email. I'd love to talk about the market with you. See if now's the right time for you to make a move. Of course, I'm not here to convince you to do something that you don't want to do. But if you do want to make a move in real estate, I'd love to help you. Let's chat. Take care.